My name is Nana Kwesi Eya from Studio Room 4, and this is Go in 5. On this channel, if you have a dream of becoming an editor, this platform is just the right place for you to be. And here we learn about editing, learn new skills, and learn new things that is happening in the world of editing. If you are a beginner and if you want to learn about editing, please, we're going to help you to achieve your dream of becoming an amazing and awesome editor. And if you're already in the business, this platform is also going to make you, have great skills in your editing and see new stuff that is happening and new ways to do new things in your editing career. Today, the application that we use, Studio Room 4, we use is Premiere Pro, and we going to dig into it. And what we are going to do today is that we are going to teach you how to create a new project in Premiere Pro, create a sequence in Premiere Pro. Getting ready to start your editing. Now, let's try to figure out what editing simply means. In a basic IT, editing simply means correcting mistakes in a text document. Again, editing simply means correcting mistakes in a text document. Now, if editing means in a normal IT field like Microsoft, whatever thing, WordPress or WordPad or whatever means editing, correcting mistakes in a text document, now let's bring it in video terms. It means that you are going to put things right. You are going to make things awesome. That is in our own ways. Yes, make things awesome. Let's say you're a film editor, a director and a producer, and the characters will go on set and with the rest of the crew, and they will put some things together, and they will bring you the footages, and you being the editor, you have to make the things awesome. You're going to help the director to achieve his dream, try to put together his story. That is what we are here to learn, right? Okay, then know that you are awesome. If you're watching me right now, if you're doing the editing and if you want to learn editing, that means you are going to learn to be awesome. You're going to correct someone else fix someone else's problem. You're going to better someone else's work. That is why you're here. Let's get to it. You first need to install Premiere Pro on your machine. Okay, and Premiere Pro have specification like have a specific specs that your machine should be. So if you don't have it, make sure you fix your machine to run Premiere Pro perfectly. After that, you have to install Premiere Pro on your machine. After you install Premiere Pro on your machine, then you're going to launch Premiere Pro application. When you launch Premiere Pro application, it's going to give you a certain interface, and that interface is going to help you to create new projects. It's also going to help you to open old projects that you've worked on. Now, when you launch Premiere Pro, this is how the interface looks like. It has recent, CC files, and 6 settings. But today we are just going to focus on recent, new, and open project. Now, when you click on the recent button, it's going to give you projects that you've worked on. And when it happens like this, it's just going to give you the access to click on the project you are working on. And as you can see, 25 minutes ago, I worked on Go in 5. And then 2 hours ago, I worked on, Stream Live. Smart Out is actually a commercial, TV commercial. And we have the Studio Lesson and Studio Lesson AC series. It's actually also some local series that I'm editing. And we have the Sky Pure, it's a commercial I edited. And this Go in 5, it's actually about the platform that you are on right now. And here, which is Learn To, is awesome something. Okay, so I've worked on a couple of projects ago, movies and other stuff, but it can't save all. This is what it can open for you. And when you go to Noon is going to open you a project panel, like a panel that you don't need to focus anywhere. The only place, as you being a beginner, you need to focus on is on your project name. So change your project name to be anything like let's give a name asset, like let's say addiction. Okay, actually I was trying to type asset and the hands were too fast, and then you say addict, then I'll have to add the word shin. It's not like addict, don't just say addict, try to add a shin so that you won't sound bad. Anyway, let's get to it. Now when you change the project name to be like this, you have to make sure that the place that you need to pay attention to is here and here. If you don't want any trouble, if you don't understand anything, just focus here and here. This is actually a graphics card in my machine that I'm using. It helps me to choose between Mercury Playback, the playback system that I want to use to play back my audios or my videos, you understand, and I'm using CUDA. Okay, but basically if you don't have anything in your machine, it's just going to give you Mercury Playback software. Okay, that is how it's going to give you, and don't worry with it. It doesn't mean that if it gives you this you can't do your editing. You will know your editing, you will do your editing, but for me I'm using this. Okay, and this is the place it's going to help you choose the location you want to save all of your files that you're going to work on. Don't be confused. It's only a place it's going to help you keep your raw files, your dirty files, and your all of the things that you're going to do. So for me, I choose my location and go to search for the location I want to use, project files, and I go to select, and automatically to select the location I want to save my files. But if you don't have any external or like hard drive in it that you want to save, you can just save it the default way that Premiere Pro will give you, and you can do your editing. Don't worry about it. Now after you set this, you just have to go straight, boom, okay, and it's going to open an interface for you, Premiere Pro. When you launch Premiere Pro for the start, this is how everything is going to give you. Now it's just the project you've created in Premiere Pro. Before you get started with your editing, we have something called sequence. You really need to create that sequence before you can get started with your editing. But before we create our sequence, let's focus and learn something over here. This is a project panel. There are few things you need to pay attention to, and some of the things are project panel. The project panel is going to help you to import all of your files, the files that you're going to work on. That is the place you're going to save and bring your audios, your videos, your footages, your other sounds, some effects you've worked on. This is where you're going to keep it. And if you're looking for it to work on, this is where you save it. Now we have something called program. The program is going to help you to, when you create your sequence, that is when here this place is going to help you see what you're working on your timeline, and the timeline is this one. Now because we have no sequence, it's actually not giving you a complete timeline. So you need to pay attention to the project panel, program, which is where it will show you what you're working on here. And we have something called source. Actually the program, when the tops will be small here, so if you want to see in a big screen and an open view of the file, if you click on it, it will show in your source. Whatever you are doing on the source, it doesn't affect the timeline. Pay attention. Whatever you do on the source, it doesn't affect the timeline. It will only affect the timeline when you bring the files from the project panel to the timeline and you are working on it. When you double click and it comes to the source, when you work on it, it will affect. So simple terms, this is how you need to understand it. It's this place, the files over here will just show here, and the files you put it here will display here. That's it. That is it in simple terms. Now there are a lot of things on it that you're seeing. Don't be confused. In time we'll try to get to it, but today let's focus on another thing: project panel and effect. The effect panel contains everything or all effects you need in Premiere Pro to help you do your editing. effects like transitions, audio effect, default colors, grading like white balance and other things, contrast and brightness. Everything you need is stored here, and each and everything you see is a folder and there is something in it. Anything you see this small arrow, that means there is something also there, and this is effect installed in there for you. Now also we need to pay attention to effect control. Now the effect control will take, but I'm just giving you overview of the whole thing. The effect that you choose here and apply it on your files over here, that is what this is the place is going to show you the details, how you can manipulate, like turn things how you want to edit them. And it's also going to give you access to know, to see your position, you see your scaling, you see your opacity and other things, other effect that you want to apply on your your footages when working on your timeline. This place is also the audio mixer. Everything you work on here will show the audio bars here. That is all you need to know for now, but the rest, as time goes on, you will get to know. So let's get back and focus on how we can start working on our Premiere Pro. And in Premiere Pro, when you launch the application and say like create your project like this, it doesn't say anything. It just gives you access to go into a little bit Premiere Pro to get started with it. Now you're asking yourself that, how do I get started completely? Don't worry, that's why we are here. Now first, we have something called sequence. The sequence is going to help you to give you the complete overview of Premiere Pro. That means you're getting ready complete to start your editing. Now everything we are doing here is about getting started with Premiere Pro. How do we create sequence? We have several ways and different ways to create a sequence, but today let's learn on the default one. You first need to go to File and go to New and go to Sequence. The sequence is going to help you. It simply means it's going to help you to do the setup for the type of camera you use to film your footages. Now basically, the files that I'm going to work on, it was filmed by Canon, it is digital DSLR camera. Now put it in mind, know the frame rate that you recorded your files when editing. The best frame rate to do editing is 24 frames per second. Now if you are editing in 24 frames per second, how do we set it? If each and every folders here contains it's a camera type and the settings itself. If you use array, you go to array and look for it. If you use, just take a look at it, all of the cameras types are here, almost all. You understand? So the device, the file that I'm going to work on today, we used Canon to record, and it is the digital, so I want to use that sequence for digital to set my whole thing. When I do this, I just go to 24 frames, and this is the resolution that I filmed my project. So 1920 height and 1080, which is the resolution that I used to film. And 24 frames per second will automatically give you 23.976 frame rates per second. That is it. So now we're done selecting the type of camera we use, and then the sequence that we need, the resolution and the frame rate that we need for it. Now we first have to change the name of our sequence to what? Any name that you want. But for me, I choose to go to sequence 01, or I can just type anything like addiction. Okay, addiction is the name of our project, so let's save something. You can write a different name which would help you to identify the kind of timeline you're working with. So let's straight go to addiction. You are addicted to editing, that is why you are here. So we are all addicted to editing, so we are addiction. Don't forget to addiction. And yes, I best sounded something different. Okay, when you name the sequence, all you have to do is to click on OK. And you'll click on OK. That means you are getting set for your editing. Now, when you have the interface like this, you are all set. Again, now you have a complete timeline. You have a complete program, which is going to help you see the things you do here. And this is the project panel and also your source, effect panel, and audio mixer lines. Okay, you could see a lot of things on the interface. Don't get worried because we got you back. We're going to learn every single things over here in times, but when we are editing, the things will just pop up and we'll be using them accordingly. Thank you very, again, let me say it again. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video, which we are going to learn how to import your files into Premiere Pro. My name is Nana Kwesi Eye, and I'm from Studio Room 4. This is Go in 5. This is where all of your editing dreams comes true. Don't forget that you have to do this for me. Click on the subscription button. Leave your comment if you didn't understand anything over here. We share. And also make sure you share for your friends, your brothers, your sisters to also have access to this. Macrao, Michelle, over the next video. Medase.